like water.
Are you accomplishing everything you want? Are you unstoppable? Or do you find there are barriers in your way? If there were a way to break through those barriers and accomplish what you want, would you want to know? Mr. Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, and anyone who wants to break through your barriers, there is a way. Take your inspiration from water. Water is persistent. Water always finds a way. I took the last step onto the carpet in my basement. Squish, squish. The ceiling in the bathroom had collapsed from the leaking toilet above, and water found a way to flood my basement. That was bothersome, but it wasn't as formidable as my brother's experience. Imagine being on a nuclear submarine, almost the size of a football field, submerging 200, 300, 400 feet below the surface. This was a maintenance run. And as my brother stepped through the door to inspect his station, water was spraying in his face. Water had found a way through a 2-inch hole in the anchor housing. 400 feet below the surface is not where you want water to be persistent. They resurfaced and made the repairs. Water is persistent. And if we're to be like water, what does that look like? There are stories upon stories of people who have been persistent, like water. Like the Alvarez family featured in the Impossible movie. They were vacationing in Thailand when suddenly a 200-foot wave from a tsunami crashed in on them and separated them. But they were persistent and found a way to reunite. People have been persistent and overcome communication barriers, like Helen Keller. She couldn't see or hear, but she found a way to break through that barrier and communicate. And even, what about being lost at sea? Jose Alvarenga holds the record for the longest solo survival at sea. He was adrift for 438 days. That's 14 months. He drifted 6,700 miles from the shore he left to go fishing. But he found a way to survive by catching fish with his bare hands and eating them raw. These are inspiring stories. But there's one more I want to spotlight, a champion. It's you. When the world was put on pause in 2020 and life had to continue, you found a way, just like water. Maybe you had to get a new job. Maybe how you do your job has changed and you work remotely. And maybe you're like one of those blessed families that got to homeschool. Whatever was going on, you were like water. You had to adjust to the shape of your surroundings. You found a way. But this is exhausting, I know. How can you keep breaking through those barriers when you come up to them? Let's think back over the people, the illustrations we talked about earlier, like the Alvarez family. They had a community of people. They went to their source of the community and found a way to reunite. And Helen Keller had Anne Sullivan, who believed in her and gave her the determination to learn how to communicate. And even Jose, all alone on his fishing boat, had the voice of his mother saying, "You can do this, you can live, you can live." So when you come up against your barriers, think about your community around you for encouragement, and look inside yourself for the strength that you have. Look up in prayer to a higher being and be like water. You've got this. You can be unstoppable. I look forward to seeing you on the other side of your barriers. Be like water. But don't be a drip, Mr. Contest Chair.